I use Gabis as my as my ID, and it's just most people call me Gabi, but I don't really. It's supposed to be like Gabis, like abyss, like the abyss of the sea, but I know I didn't spell it like abyss, but oh, we have to do the scan the cracks. Here, I'll go do the other one. Did Eli go do it? Yeah. And, you know, to answer your question there, Suros, about do we get much time together as a family, it's, you know, it's funny, like, when you get 4 kids, it's, you know, a lot of the times, you know, my wife and I are like 2 ships passing in the night, because we're taking one kid to one sport activity and another. You know, our winters are so long, and they're playing hockey. It gets a bit crazy. But, you know, 3 years ago we had our fourth child, our first daughter, and she ended up being, well, it'll be 3 years in September. She ended up being in the hospital for the first 6 months of her life, and so it's been. In fact, that's kind of what when I started. Actually, she was born. When was she born? 4 days before Destiny launched, and my wife ended up staying in the hospital with her. Oh, what are we doing now? Defend the Crota Temple. Oh, we have to go to the Crota Temple.
Darn it, I went all the way down here.
So my wife ended up staying in the hospital with my daughter, and I was on my own with the 3 boys, and they were in hockey. I was coaching hockey. I was, you know, running my own business. School, homework. I mean, I was just for 6 months doing it by myself, and I almost had a nervous breakdown, to be honest. I was just tired, but I played Destiny. Destiny kind of gave me an escape, and maybe that's why Destiny, apart from being like a wicked game, maybe that's why it means more to me. In a very stressful time, it provided an escape, and so I guess to say, my daughter, we ended up getting her home, and she's still she's healthy, but she has special needs, and so I got to the point where you should have been, and it's pulling you all in. So my daughter has special needs, and she needs 24/7 care. So we have people that watch her at night, because she has an obstructed airway, like her airway collapses on her when she breathes, so she had to get a tracheotomy. So at nighttime she has to have oxygen right to her trach, and because she's an infant and she has a trach, you know, the last thing you want is an infant to pull the trach out. It's just held on by a strap on the neck. So she has we have nurses that watch her at night, and we have somebody that works with her in the day to help her with her sort of delayed issues. But she's awesome, and because of her challenges, we don't get to go out much. We don't get to camp like we used to camp in the mountains as a family, and because we have to, you know, have people watching her at night when she sleeps, and can't really bring somebody along. Plus, she needs oxygen, so you need power, and it's just been a big mess. But
we need an RV.
Where are you guys? Are you in here with me, or did you go down?
We went down.
Okay, I was just goofing around. So that's kind of why I I play and kind of why I started streaming, to be honest. That's a tough first 6 months. Yeah, it sure was. I just fell off because I wasn't paying attention. Part of why I think I started streaming here is if this streaming thing works out, I kind of want to dedicate if there's any earnings involved in it, which that's not my goal, but if it ever turned out that way, then I would put everything for that into a fund for my daughter. Because she's probably going to need help her whole life. But at the same time, it's kind of strange because it's like if that didn't happen to her, wouldn't have had those particular circumstances that... Did I just pass you guys? No. You guys are really deep. Then I probably wouldn't have played Destiny as much as I am.
Elijah's just wrecking.
He's a machine, eh?
He's just ripping.
I might have passed where I'm supposed to go.
No, we gotta go up.
Go up? I went.
Go back. And up. Yeah, up there, and then the return, and there'll be like a door.
Oh, there's Elijah.
Am I dying on the thing? My balls.
I tried to throw that grenade on the wall and they just ran past me. That's such a heartwarming story, yeah. It's just life, right? Like, you have 3 perfectly healthy boys, and then all of a sudden you have one that has some challenges, and it's just like, it's exhausting. Like, nobody ever wants that kind of thing to happen, but when it does, you just gotta deal with it. I'll stream at some point here. Maybe next week when I'm he's teabagging the yogurt. I'll probably stream one of these days with her on my lap. She's a cutie. She has a little T-shirt, a gamer T-shirt with a PS4 controller on it. It says keep calm and respawn.
What is this thing?
Anything like that enclosing kids is hard, but I couldn't imagine it happening to your own child. Yeah, it's tough. Watching your little one suffering and going through surgeries and being poked around by doctors like a pincushion. In fact, just today I was up at the hospital with her. She was getting an MRI done on her brain, and she doesn't really cry much. She's a pretty happy little girl, and when she came out of the anesthesia, she cried so hard, and we don't hear her voice because she breathes out of her neck here, so she can't talk because her the hole in her trach is below her voice box. But she was crying so hard, she was pushing air up so hard that it actually it hit her voice box, and she was squawking from her mouth, and it's like we haven't heard her make a sound from her mouth since she was born. So it was kind of pulls on your heart.
71 kills. You guys are noobs.
Look at me, I'm falling off